Ready?
Ready.
All right, let's process out loud. Feels a little crazy, huh, to think it was a week ago that
Yeah.
it was freezing. As a matter of fact, a week ago tonight would have been the night when it actually dropped down to 39 degrees in our house.
It just seemed like a normal Monday, and that we were gonna go about our work week the normal way that we do, and all of a sudden
Nope.
everything changed. Not just our work week, but also the way that we do life.
What was so hard about it?
I think that you just feel so powerless. You realize how much, or let me say that again, how little we actually have control, which I felt victim to was not having our needs met, like our actual survival needs. The things that we rely on every single day just to do normal life were all of a sudden taken away. And so now it's hard because you're problem solving survival.
I think it was 108 hours we were without power with below freezing temperatures the whole time. And if someone said that, honestly, I'd be like, okay, well, these are the things I would do. This is the approach I would take. But we never knew that's how long or how short it was going to be.
Right.
When it first happened, the online, there's a little app that says how long your power is going to be out, and it said it was going to be out for 7 hours.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh man, that's a long time. How are we going to get through the night? We thought we were going to have to sleep through the night in cold temperatures with no heat for 7 hours. And we're like, we need to make some adjustments and get in a warmer bed and, do the stuff. And so we adjusted that, but we're thinking we're solving for 7 hours. And so
Right.
it's a weird aspect of the whole situation that you're kind of moving forward without any idea of how far or where you're going. You're just 1 hour at a time.
Your expectations they start out kind of high. And I say high because the expectations of being told that your power is only going to be gone for 7 hours. Well, your expectations like, oh, sweet. Okay, only 7 hours. Well, now those expectations aren't met, and there's a lot of frustration and anger. Like, listen.
And I actually even gave myself permission to not want it to be over, which is, man, it feels really irresponsible to say that. It's dangerous. People are in trouble. You're in trouble. The resources will run out. And I was like, no, what's going to serve me? What's going to serve me right now? What's going to serve me right now is that I would rather the power be out. I hope this doesn't end soon. There are parts of this that I love, and I don't want them to go away too soon. I'm going to miss them when they're gone. Of course, you still get tired, you get cold, you get uncomfortable, but the majority of the time, really the worst time for me was the last few hours before it was over, when we knew it might be ending soon. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, is it yet? Is it yet? Is it yet? And that's really the only place that the kind of real discomfort showed up, is when I thought we're almost out.
Just because you started feeling
impatient.
Excited about it shifting over.
A warm shower. I got excited about a warm shower.
I also felt really sad and just concerned about other people who had larger families or younger families. Some of our friends had awful things happen to their house, where their roof caved in and pipes bursting and flooding and jobs being hindered, businesses being hindered, livelihoods. And so in 1 week, so many people's life changed pretty drastically, and it just caused in that short amount of time, a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety. So I would say throughout the week, I was also just feeling really empathetic for other people that were really worse off than we were.
What would you say is the thing you learned, or one of the biggest assets or benefits from going through that?
Well, I definitely learned how I can trust myself and us as a team to do the hard things.
We were an awesome team. That whole time we never even fought.
Yeah, no, we didn't, which is pretty awesome.
We were united that whole time.
Yeah, I would say it was actually really bonding, because we kept our head in a good spot of, we're gonna get through this, it's okay, it'll pass, and then it just helped us to just talk about, okay, what else do we need to do? But I would say that one of the good things that came out of it was that strength and that resiliency. that you go through life and you have this belief like, okay, I've done in the past a lot of hard things. I've gone through a lot of discomfort. So I know that I'm a strong person and resilient person. But then when life throws a very lifey, unexpected circumstance, as it does, you always, well, at least for me, wonder, is that strength and resiliency going to show up? Am I too out of shape because things have really been going well? And so I really enjoyed learning that, yeah, I can trust myself to do the hard things and endure the discomfort even when I don't want to or feel like it. What about you?
I feel like I have a really new understanding of what it means to be present and to be in a moment and dealing with the moment and really just being okay dealing with the moment and noticing that there are things that are not, it's not that they're unvaluable. They're valuable things. I know everyone was talking about politics. Whose fault was this? Like what went wrong? How'd this happen? And even as Whit mentioned, friends that were struggling. That's a valuable thing to care about. It's like part of my character to care about that. I want that. However, it was a distraction in the moment. Because in this moment, what mattered was keeping the fire going. What mattered was finding firewood and cutting it. What mattered was figuring out a way to get some water, to cook, to make sure we had drinkable water. There were these things that mattered now. And so it really gave me some clarity that just because something is valuable, like I'm not trying to make like a value statement about the things that there are in the world, but what's a distraction in the moment versus where do you want your focus in order to thrive? And it reminds me of John Wooden speaking about winning championships versus how they're going to show up in practice and what is in their attitude and their effort in the present, what's in their control, right? It's not that he thinks a championship is not valuable. It's just a distraction to your performance in the moment. And so there was a lot of things, including our own business, this that we're doing right now, like Steadfast Life Coaching and being on social media and speaking and offering value to all of you. It was something that's valuable. We want to be doing that, but it was a distraction when the priority needed to be staying connected, keeping the fire going. Sometimes, and this is where it was really crazy, sometimes the most important thing to do was for me to sit on the fireplace, hold a cup of hot chocolate, and just breathe and drink it and warm up because my body temperature was dropping because right behind me in that kitchen, it was freezing. But over here from the fireplace, it was okay.
Yeah. I'm glad that you say that because I know a lot of our clients who are building businesses, have a health goal, have a relationship goal. All of those things got pushed onto the back burner in order to really survive. The ones obviously that are here in Texas. And I know it's going to bring them a lot of comfort and relief hearing that being present, having the right attitude and focusing on the current situation was the best choice that they could make. It
gave me a lot of peace. Really, I just felt a lot of peace while we're doing this, and like we've been saying, felt very connected.
Yeah. Were there any specific things that you did throughout the week that helped you maintain that focus?
Scheduling. Yeah, what am I doing right now? I totally stole this from that movie 127 Hours. It's one of the things I observed when I was watching that movie is how Aaron Ralston scheduled his day. Even though he couldn't leave the rock, he still scheduled his day. What did he want to be doing at what time? Upper brain decisions. And so I would sit, I keep pointing, the fireplace is right behind the camera. I would sit at the fireplace and I would have coffee or hot chocolate, usually a mix of both. And I would just think through, what am I gonna do? What's my next priority? What is my one goal for today? One day it was get a shower. Let's find a way to get to a friend's house. It was tough. Even though so many friends were willing, you couldn't travel very easily, from one place to another. And even friends' electricity was inconsistent. And so I would just pick a small goal. This is my focus for the day. This is what victory looks like today. Now what does victory look like in this minute?
Yeah.
What does victory look like in this hour? And then I was, victory, 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 victory all day long. And it keeps you feeling in a good space. So I would say, scheduling.
I know for me, it was continuing to check in with myself and evaluate what I was feeling in the moment. And not that I was, constantly in tune with my emotion. I think you're in a form of stress subconsciously, just trying to, do the best that you can. However, when my mind would start going on worst case scenarios or how long is this really gonna last, I would just open up the Bible and I would start reading, or I would jot down some of my thoughts and just get them out of my head onto paper. And those are both things that I have consistently built the habit of doing over the last couple of years that really came in hand because my morning routine was out the window. Privacy was out the window. We were in this room always together to stay warm. And so the consistent habit allowed me to first be aware, I'm feeling something uncomfortable, some tough emotions, some fear and sadness. Okay, let me go to what I know works. And these two habits have really served me well. The other thing that I really valued from this experience was realizing how fast pace we live our life. When you are forced to come to a dead halt, a total stop, where you're just focused, like Jake said, on like two goals, like really one goal a day, staying warm. Our goals definitely became so minimal, and what we could even do as options became so minimal.
Yeah.
And so what that allowed me to really evaluate and have a huge contrast perspective of is how fast, how much we ask of ourselves on a daily basis. And so it was really interesting. One of my teachers recently said that the pace of life you live at kills your intimacy in your relationships. And this is something that I have intuitively been feeling before this happened, was just, man, what like you do so much. You have a lot of irons in the fire, which is great. Like it really is my personality. And what's really important and what really is important to me are my relationships. But my life doesn't always resemble that. I'm like, yeah, my marriage, my family, my relationship with God, they're really important, but all these other things are too. Business, school, etc. It's okay to do less. It doesn't mean that my worth is less.
We just slowed down.
Yeah.
And all these relationships got more intimate. Our neighbors, our neighborhood, the people that were at our house, the people who helped us out with each other. These relationships grew in intimacy, and it was never an intentional priority. It was simply a byproduct of slowing down. My
relationship with the Lord definitely grew, really realizing how much I do rely on Him and how much I do actually trust Him. And they became strengthened as a byproduct. And I want to make sure that I'm carrying that into our normal life.
Life with electricity.
Yeah.
Anything that really surprised you about how you showed up, what you experienced, what it was like to come back to a life with electricity? Anything stand out that was just, didn't see that coming?
One of the things that surprised me was my ability to stay connected with you, stay connected in our family, and do what we needed to do. And then at the end, really give myself permission to process the tough emotion. Normally, I think my old self, who was in this situation, would have wanted to sprint out of the gates once this ended. Like once we had electricity, I would have had—
we're back at work.
To-do list and full throttle and just totally busy. And what I did instead was give myself permission to relax and be able to look at everything that we went through, feel proud of ourselves, feel so much gratitude, and then be okay with not jumping in right away. I mean, I think we probably took 3 days, the whole weekend.
Off-ish.
Yeah. To really just rest and recharge.
You may have seen that the YouTube video came out, but it was rest-ish.
Yeah, Jake definitely jumped in faster than I did, but what about you?
Similarly, I was shocked at how much the sequence of events, the week, affected me emotionally after. It was a really crazy experience. I actually have a coach, and I checked in with her after to sort of make sure someone was looking at my mind. Hey, how am I doing? This is what I'm thinking. What's your input? What do you see in there? And as I started saying even what I was thinking, I was feeling emotion. And it was odd. I was really not expecting it to be there, but it was strong, and it was coming up, and I'm like, man. And so I'm like, what is this? What am I feeling? Because I'm not sad, I'm not scared, but what it was is like what's describing. It was feeling proud and grateful, and really overwhelmed. And then she said, hey, make sure you're taking time to feel that stuff. And I was like, sweet. I want to feel that stuff. It feels really good to feel proud and grateful, but also kind of need the reminder, a little nudge to take the time to really just feel it and just be like, yes, we actually did something, and we did it well, and it feels good, and we made it through, and let me just enjoy this part of life.
Yeah.
But it definitely something that surprised me that it was under there. I was not expecting to feel that.
Full transparency. No hiding anything back.
Okay. I'm nervous all of a sudden. More nervous than I was last week.
Did you cry at all? Like,
define
from Monday to this Monday.
Define, not at all about the situation.
Okay.
In terms of when the emotion came up, I'm always curious how to answer that question. I don't know. No emotion came out of my eye.
Okay.
And so, but yes, there was emotion in my eye.
Okay.
Yeah. And I wasn't trying to hold it back. I wasn't like, don't let it out. Don't let it out. I just I don't really know. Sometimes it just doesn't come out. Like I just sit there and my eyes get shiny, and then it just stops.
Uh-huh.
And that's the way it happens. You can be the judge. Feel free. Let me know. I don't know. Is that crying or not crying?
Yeah. He cried like a ball baby.
I'm not ashamed. Just confused.
Just kidding. Yeah.
What about you?
No. I'm so not a crier. No, I actually do cry often, especially when I spend time with the Lord. But this was outside of my time with the Lord. And it was when Jake went 2 hours. He was gone out of the house.
Oh, yeah, I went to help a buddy.
Helping a friend.
Drive in the snow because I had a Jeep. No, shout out to the Jeeps out there.
And while he was gone, I was tending to the fire by myself and went into our bathroom, and our bathroom was flooding, and I had a call coming up. I was supposed to be on a call in 40 minutes.
Still trying to run the business.
Yes, and I think there was one other thing, and all of a sudden I realized oh my gosh, this is a real situation. I don't even know how to explain it, but all of a sudden reality hit me a little stronger when Jake left. So
I never left again.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed. I was actually really grateful for that moment too, because I like to practice I'm human too. And my brain likes to say, be strong. When you're really strong, then you don't allow yourself to cry, which is not true. That's not true.
No.
So I like to be able to just allow what comes up and then decide how I want to respond.
Any closing thoughts?
Texas, let's make a deal. Don't let that happen for another 30 years. we are very grateful to be able to share our experience and just how we've processed it, the growth that we've gotten out of it, and really the perspective that we're taking away from this experience.
Yeah, it does convict me to prepare in case stuff like this were to come up again in the future. Like anytime you go through this, you're like, oh, how could I be ready in the future? And sure, things cross my mind about solutions, survival solutions, generators, whatever. But the real conviction I have is to make sure this is just sharp as can be. Because this attitude and effort in the present, everything else is a distraction. And when you can have that attitude and effort in the present, I was so grateful for my mindset during this.
Totally,
And
I agree.
it did really convict me to make sure that I keep it operating at the level I want in case other things in other forms pop up like this in the future.
We have made a pact to go 4 days without using our electricity once a month.
Only if it's freezing.
Only if it's freezing or 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, that could be fun too.